Actually, let's call this warehouse, give it a name. Not Warhouse. Actually, oh, that's cool. Yeah, let's make it a Warhouse, where we keep our minerals of war. Alrighty guys, this is Moopa Sega on behalf of Moopa Corp. We will be building a warehouse today, just a very basic warehouse with manual inputs. Let's get started. So I've got my little run sheet over here. Okay, so first of all, thanks for the new subs. Keep the follows happening, I really appreciate it, and of course keep the feedback happening, because it's with your feedback that has kind of directed the path of this channel such that I can work out that you guys really want to see the how-to videos, and I appreciate it so much. In response to some of the comments that I've seen, will I share the sheets that I make for Moopa Corp? No, I will not, because I wouldn't be doing you a service, because there's too much complexity there that if I just drop a sheet on you, it's not gonna be good, it's not gonna be constructive, and I've put a lot of time and effort into building that stuff up. So while I'm absolutely keen on you guys learning how to do it yourself and making your own solutions, I will not be giving away my own operations. I mean, the actual sheets. I mean, I'm pretty much giving it away how I do it, which is totally fine. When it comes to Google Sheets, it's not something that I'm going to give you tutorials in, because I prefer to work in Microsoft Excel. There is a lot more power there, and when you get further down the line and your sheets start getting super complex, the Google Sheets is just not going to be able to handle it. And Google Sheets also doesn't have quite as much in the way of conditional formatting. So when it comes to sexifying your spreadsheets and really getting them looking cool, or how you want them to look, I don't believe that Google Sheets has quite as much power for me. Today we will be working on a warehouse build. The sections that there will be to it, there will be the warehouse proper. There's going to be an input section where you enter your prices and what you purchased or received. There's going to be an output section where you keep track of any removals from the system, if you're giving away parts or if you're selling parts. Excuse me, I just knocked my brand new microphone. God damn it. Anyway, there will also be a warehouse proper where you can see exactly what stock you've got available. And then there will also be an extras section. So we will build the basic kind of warehouse, and then we're going to build desired levels into that. We're also going to build a quick little shopping list on the side, and then a nice little feature. We're going to add the capacity to change your desired levels. So if you're starting out, you might not have as much startup capital. So maybe you don't want to be spending a whole bunch of money in just one material, right? Maybe you want to start with the basic kind of ratios of, for every 1 tritanium or for every one noxium, I want to have 20 tritanium and this kind of stuff. And then as you start getting more and more purchasing power, you can start upping those units. And rather than buying things in 1 million isk at a time, you can start buying things at 10 million and then 20 million and 1 billion. All right. So let's get started. I hope that this is succinct. I hope that you hang around for the video. If you haven't given us a like or a follow or a dislike yet, please go ahead and do that. I really appreciate it. Let's get started. Okay, so what you will need today, you are going to need, outside the client, you're going to need a new workbook. So let's get that open now. New blank workbook. In client, in the game, you will need to be in a market hub somewhere, or just any kind of station where you have access to minerals. So we're going to be buying some minerals later on down the video so that we can test our warehouse. The formulas and the concepts we're going to be looking at today, we're going to be looking at basic cell referencing. We're going to be looking at the VLOOKUP function and the Sumif function. Actually, I don't know that VLOOKUP comes up, but it's kind of similar to the Sumif function. Okay, getting started. we're going to have an input section here. We are going to have a warehouse section here. We are going to have an output section here. So let's get started. I've given you the columns here that you need for each area. We need a when, we need item, we need quantity, we need total cost of received. And I'm just going to make that a tiny bit bigger by double clicking on the column separator there. And then we also got cost per. Now guys, we are just setting up the basic framework here. So we've got a little bit of a visual on this. Select all of column E there, throw a little border to the right. So I'm going to go to borders here in the home tab. I'm going to say right border. So that throws a little border just on the left hand side. Now we will make this all sexy later, but for now we just need something that is functioning. This is the input section. Now let's get to the warehouse section. So in the warehouse section we are going to have, actually let's put a tiny little break. I'm just going to resize column F by dragging that across. Let's put item, current stock, received, total cost of received, average price, and removed. Okay, now I actually don't like how big these columns are, so I'm just going to go total ISK. Let's do it that way. All right, now in the output section here, we are going to have, let me just give myself a little bit more visual room. We are going to have when. Actually, before I do, I'm going to throw a couple of borders in here, back to the home tab. If you're not seeing the home tab, if you're not seeing your system like this is just because I've hidden the tabs and commands, okay? So you're going to go up to the top right, ribbon display options, auto hide ribbon. That's how I like to do it. I'm going to go back there. Okay, so we're going to put a little, I know how many items I'm going to need here, so I'm going to go down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, I'm going to select that. I'm going to put in an outline border here, just an outside border, and then an outside border over it all. Because this is where we're going to enter the items that we are keeping track of, which today will be Tech 1 items. Oh, sorry, not Tech 1 items, Tech 1 minerals. Just basic titanium, maxillon, that kind of stuff. Okay, now in our output column, actually let's give this a little underline here as well. Let's get it at least kind of visually so we can get some compartmentalization. Now we're going to go to column N here. We are going to enter when. Now I ran out of kind of space in my little display here, so I've joined a couple together. So item, quantity, cost per, total cost, particulars. Particulars is just an extra little one. There's not going to be anything too flash in there. Okay, so now let's give ourselves again some nice little outside borders, and outside borders. So that little button there remembers the last border option that you did. Okay, so we've got our basic setup here. When you look at this, you've got, I'm just going to press Control and scroll out here so that you get a little bit of a view. Let's leave it here actually. So in this section, you've got your output, so your input here on the left hand side, your warehouse proper in the middle, and your output. So things coming into your warehouse on this side, things leaving your warehouse on the right hand side. Okay, let's move on. Now, as you see on this little guide over on the left-hand side, anything that is got the asterisk beside it, this is going to be a column in which we put a formula, okay? Anything that is not got a little asterisk there that has come up with the orange coloring will just be manual entry, okay? All right. So when it comes to, so we've got our columns: when, item, quantity, total cost received. Oh, I need to change that. So that's total ISK, sorry. And then the cost per. So in the cost per, we are going to do our first formula here today, guys. So when it comes to formulas in Excel, you need, if I enter just letters in here, right? That will come up as a string. If I want to enter a formula in here, so something that does a little calculation of some sort or some sort of function, then I need to begin this with an equals sign, okay? So this says that we are not going to enter just a string or an integer or a number or any of this kind of stuff. What we are actually going to do is put some sort of calculation in here. We're going to give it the instructions to work out what it is we want to do. In this instance, we want to come up with a cost per, all right? So to work out the cost per item, I will give us some fake values here. Let's say the item is titanium. We ordered the total ISK cost was 600, and we bought 10 titanium. And now to work out the cost per item is, we are going to do this. We are going to go enter, and we are going to go look over here to the right where this is a kind of a breakdown. We're going to go total cost divided by the quantity, all right? So that's going to say we spent 600 ISK on 10 titanium. How much does that mean that each titanium cost? Very simple stuff. So we're going to reference D2 here, and we're going to say minus, oh gosh, what am I doing? Not minus. We're going to say D2 divided by quantity, okay? 60, all right? So each titanium cost us 60 ISK, if those were the numbers, okay? All right, now what am I going to do here? I'm going to double click on this little circle here. Let me zoom in for you. Let me, let's zoom in. Okay, so as you can see, we've got 60 there. And now to get that formula and post it down and flash fill, we are going to double click on that little box in the corner if you see it. Actually, forget that. We are going to drag it down. All right. We are just going to drag this down, and don't be alarmed that it says div 0. All this is saying is that, hey, you can't divide something by 0, because what it is looking for here, as I drag that down, did you see how these cells update? So D2, rather than being D2 divided by C2, if I click in this one here, it's actually looking to D3 and C3, because it's looking to the thing that it was originally next to, right? This is just saying, hey, we can't divide it by 0, all right? Now for this, I'm just going to do an if function at the beginning of this to say that if there is no value in column A, then put nothing, all right? Rather than doing an error. Or you can do it, there's other ways of doing it. You can say if error, then produce this, but I prefer to do it this way. So I'm just gonna very quickly, we are not going to go into this until another time, but let me just quickly do it. If the test is, if A2 equals blank, then put blank. Otherwise, do D2 divided by C2, okay? Now there it is showing up blank because we have nothing in A2. So let's say we did this on the 29th of the 7th, and there it is, okay? All right, moving on. We've filled out our cost per column. This now has formulas in it. As you can see, if you click on these, there's formulas in there up the top. And in these other columns where we will put in the data manually for now, there is nothing, okay? Sometimes if this doesn't fill, you have to check how far did I copy that formula down, okay? All right, let's zoom out a bit here, get back to where we were. Okay, when it comes to a little bit of extra Excel knowledge that you're gonna have to know, the operators, so when you want to time something, let's do some examples here. 1 and 2. Actually, let's do 2 and 5. Okay. Okay. All right, now, so if we are using a plus symbol, if we are using a minus symbol, if we are using a time symbol, and if we are using a division. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Those are the operators for that. Now let's have a look at how these work. So if we go equals A plus A1 plus B1, we get this. If we go equals 2 minus this, get -3. Notice that I'm doing the equals first because I want this to be a formula and not a value, okay? All right, 2 times 5 equals 5, oh God, equals 10. What a stupid boy. And then equals 2 divided by 5 divided by 4. That's just an example there. They're your main operators. That's the stuff you need to know. All right, now we're back to our warehouse. Actually, let's call this warehouse, give it a name. Not warhouse. Actually, oh, that's cool. Yeah, let's make it a warhouse. Where we keep our minerals of war. Okay, moving right along. Now we're going to fill out the stuff in the output area. We're going to come back to the warehouse. So we are going to need a formula in the cost per column and a formula in the total cost section here. Sumif is going to be the main formula that we work with today. Now, when it comes to formulas in Excel, it has functions, sorry, when it comes to functions in Excel, there will be the name of the function, and then it has certain criterias or parameters that you then fill out, okay? Now, when it comes to Sumif, as you can see up the top here, there will be a range in which it looks for something, and then it searches for the thing, and then it adds whatever is in the column alongside it. All right, now this is a little bit hard to explain without showing it. So let's go back to our examples here. We have bread, butter, flour, and water. Bread cost $2, butter costs 50 cents, flour costs 15 cents, and water costs $1, let's say, okay? Now, if we look at Sumif, I'm going to put a cool little thing here, all right? We are going to say, in this cell here, we want to find out the value of whatever is here, okay? This is its own little table. All right, bread equals $2. Let's turn it into bread equals $2, butter equals 50 cents, flour equals 15 cents, water equals $1. And whatever we put in here, we want to see the price show up over here, okay? So let's quickly walk through this formula. We're going to go equals Sumif. All right, now I'm going to look, where am I going to look? Where am I going to look for the thing that I want to find? All right, where will the thing that I want to find be? It's going to be over here in those 4 cells. All right. And then we say, what are we actually looking for? I want to look for the bread price. So where do I find the criteria? The criteria is going to be right here. So in bread. And now the final element here is the sum range. So which value do I want to return, or which column is the value that I want to return in? And it's going to be those 4 cells there. Okay. I'm going to press enter. So bread is there, butter is there, flour, and water. Okay. Now we are going to be using SUMIF in the warehouse. I'm not going to stop too much. The temptation for me is definitely to get bogged down in trying to explain this stuff, but really it is up to you guys to open a worksheet and play around for yourself. SUMIF is good if you are trying to find a single value and there is only one of something in here, but notice if I'm going to quickly change the parameters here. I'm going to, rather than being here, be there, and here the sum range is going to be there. Okay. Oh, sorry. Make that bigger. There. Okay. The thing is, with SUMIF, it is looking for, it will sum every time it sees a value, right? So let's say we went to the shop. The first time we bought bread, it was $2. The next time we bought bread, it's $1.95. The next time we bought flour, gosh, why the hell can I not? The next time we bought flour, it was only 10 cents. And the other time we bought flour, it was 11 cents, and water, the price rose to $1.05. So as you can see, this is the total cost. So what this is doing, it's saying every time you see water over here, get the value beside it and add it to any other times you see water with the value beside it. So we've got $1 here and $1.05, and it's saying $2.05. Butter is still 50 cents because we've only bought it once. Bread, $3.95. We've spent $3.95 on bread. All right, now this is a very basic example, but essentially it is exactly the same as what we are doing in our warehouse. Moving on, so let's put some fake values in here. 27th of the 7th, the item was titanium. The quantity that we want to withdraw is 3 titanium. And now, so we get to the cost per. The cost per is going to be the SUMIF of the average price, okay? So in the warehouse, this is going to have how much does titanium cost each, all right? So we are going to look up the value for titanium in here, in the warehouse. So we're going to use a SUMIF equals SUMIF. The range in which we will find this thing, we will find, the range in which we will find the criteria is going to be an item, because we are going to search by titanium. So we go item, that's the range. The criteria is going to be beside us here, titanium, and the sum range is going to be average price, okay? That's our formula. Now it doesn't find it, so it returns the value 0. Now if I had titanium already set up in here and the average price was 50 ISK, It says that the cost per of those items is 50 ISK. And now we move on to the next column, which is the one beside it here. We say the total cost of this removal, the total cost of this withdrawal equals the quantity times by the cost per item. Okay? The particulars are gave to friend. Okay? Yeah? So let's say that I gave away 3 tritanium. Each one of those tritanium cost me 50 ISK, which came to a total cost of 150 ISK. So all we are going to add there now is make sure that these formulas are copied down, all right? Again, because we are dragging those cells down, it will change with it. Oh, gee. This is terrific. This is a perfect example, actually, of cell referencing. This is the perfect example. Okay, so now see how when we drag those cells down, it drags its reference down as well, okay? It's like, okay, well, I'm always going to look however many to the left and however many down from that and however many to the left. I'm going to find my criteria, 2 cells to the left, la-di-da. But what we want, because this warehouse is never going to change, okay? So we need to set these values up. We need to set this blue section up as an absolute reference. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my cursor over the G2 to G8 and I'm going to press F4 on both of them, okay? Now what that does, it means that those cells, it will always look in those exact same cells. When you drag that down, that will never change. O2 needs to change because we are going to put in tritanium and then epsilon and then whatever at different amounts. But the average price also here, this will not change. All right, so these need to be absolute references. We make them absolute references and we press OK. And now let's try again. Now we go here, and again, see it's referencing O3. So O3 has changed. It's looking for whatever in here, but it's still looking in the exact same place because the warehouse position on the spreadsheet does not change, okay? So we've got our column set up, and of course, as you move further on, you can drag these down as far as you like. I'm going to do just a little cheeky thing like I did on the other one because I don't like seeing all these zeros. So I'm going to say if this value equals blank, then blank, otherwise do that thing, okay? Copy that fella down. We're going to do the same here. If this value equals blank, then blank. If that is not the case, if it is not blank, then do that thing, okay? So I'm going to drag that down as well. Very good. All right, so now I don't need to see those values, but I do know that there are formulas in those cells now, okay? All right, let's turn off formulas, find and select formulas, no. All right, so what we're gonna do here, we are going to move straight along to the warehouse, begin building the warehouse. I hope you guys aren't too bored, and I hope that I've had a lot of trouble like thinking out. So I essentially had to build it in my mind before coming to you here today to make this run sheet, which is kind of what feeds the agenda sheet over here. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So in our warehouse, we need item. We need to put formulas in the following columns. Okay. All right. So when it comes to item, let's actually fill this out. I'm going to open up the client here. All right, so current stock, in current stock, it is going to equal whatever we have received minus what we have removed, okay? So if I have 10 apples, I give away 5 apples, my current stock is gonna be 5 apples, right? Pretty simple. So when it comes to filling in this formula, we're gonna go equals, we're going to received minus removed. Very simple formula there. Now I've dragged that down, and what it has done it has brought the formatting of that top border with it. So I'm actually just copied that, and I'm going to go to paste formulas here. All right, rather than paste values. Okay, so we've got current stock. That's fine. Now we are going to do received. Received, we are going to use our sum if. We're going to use our sum if formula again. So equals, because it's a formula, sum if. Now when that comes up there and that's got the blue here, I'm just going to press tab, which kind of fills it out for me, fills out the rest of the thing for me. Now the range in which I want to find the thing, I want to find isogen, right? And I want to count how much is in there. So the range in which I'm going to find isogen is going to be item name here, okay? So we're going to select that entire column because we are summing everything here, okay? Everything we ever purchase is going to be in here, okay? Now the criteria is going to be this one here. Actually, while we're here, let's practice using our absolute references. So this is always going to be BB because we're always going to be summing in there. So I like to just do that just to be on top of my stuff. And then we are going to look for G2. Put a little comma to set out the next parameter of the criteria. And the final criteria that we are going to fill in, the number, the total that we have received is going to be quantity here, okay? I'm going to close that off with another bracket. Now I'm going to copy that formula again, and I'm going to paste the formula. See what has happened there? He's actually said you have received 10 tritanium because it's counting this over here. Let's walk through that just one more time. What this formula is doing, it is saying in column BB, look for isogen and sum the value that you see horizontally across, right? From that value. Where you find isogen, sum the thing that is in column C. I would encourage you to go away and practice that one, or just do it. And then as you get better, you will be like, okay, I understand how that works. Okay, right. So that is done. The total cost received. Now this is total ISK. I think we changed this one to total ISK. So we're going to go again. We're doing the exact same thing. All right. We are looking in the exact same columns for a different sum value. We are now looking at the total ISK that we have spent on that rather than how many did we get. Okay. So I'm going to copy that formula. I'm actually going to put it straight there. And I'm going to change this value to, rather than doing quantity, let's delete that. And let's actually do the total ISK. All right. I'm going to copy that formula and paste. What else we need to do here? We need to set this back to isogen. I should have done an absolute reference on that from the get-go, but it's too late now, so let's do that. Copy, paste formula. All right, moving on. I know if you're lost, I understand. Just do your absolute best. Go back and look at the formulas and enter them in exactly as you see me do them. Now we're going to go to average price to work out average price. Total cost received, we did that one. The average price equals the total cost received by the number of received. Okay. Let's do that for us now. So we're going to go equals total ISK divided by the number received. It's complaining here because it can't divide by 0. That's okay. We'll let it complain just for a little bit longer. Formula. Okay, so the average cost here, even that over there updated as well, pretty awesome. The average cost here is 60. Now if I put in another, what if we bought 15 and we spent 614 ISK, and we put, now this already has a formula in there, so don't do that. It's waiting to see what date. All right, see how the average prices has changed again, and it's saying that we've bought a total of 1,214, right? Which is 600 plus 614. All right, now I'm very quickly going to add a little if function in here, just called if error. So if you're looking at the parameters here, it's got the value, so do this thing, but if it is an error, then do this thing. And that is show blank. Now with removed, we were doing the same thing as the received, except we are summing if on the output side. Okay, so let's do that now. Equals sum if range. Now we are looking where will we find our criteria? We are going to find isogen in this column over here, right? And the criteria is going to be right here. So we want to find this value in this column, putting a little comma there just to change the parameter to along to the next one. And the sum range, what do we want to find? We want to find the quantity removed. It's going to be in column P there, okay? Ba-boom, pa-boom. All right, we are getting through this, guys. I'm sorry if you are having trouble following along. I'm having trouble kind of trying to explain it. Again, it's all about project-based learning. Get in there and have a go. Follow along with me, and we'll see how we can go. So we've done that. That's all ready to go. Removed. We've got our warehouse here. Let's delete all these values that are manual values, which will be this one, that one, and that one. Now we've got an empty system here, okay? That is enough. That is enough that we've got there. But what I wanted to show you is some extra stuff that we can add in here to make it a tiny bit special. So what we're going to do down here, we're going to have a shopping list. It's going to be like this. We're going to get these values. Let's put it down there. Actually, no, let's do it here. Values. And we are going to add in a little thing in here, another column. So I'm going to select that column and say insert. Okay, we're going to put in desired units. Follow along here. Units, and then we're going to do another one. Insert per unit. Okay. I'm going to drag this fella down and call this shopping list. Okay. All right, now per unit, this is kind of a ratio thing, because when it comes to tritanium and xydrine, they are not all exactly the same. Like when you go to build a rifter, there's not going to be the same amount of tritanium as there is noxium, okay? So let's say when it comes to working out your units, there are lots of cool ways of working that out. The average per frigate, you know, and then you can kind of fill that in. So I'm just going to make up some fake values. Let's say for every 1 unit, I want to have 15 isogen, 2 megasite, 15 mexilon, 1 noxium, 30 pyrite, 30 pyrite, 50 tritanium, and I don't know, 15 xydrine. Okay, this is per units. And now what we've also got here, Okay. Ooh, this is getting fun. Now, we are going to have a little thing over here, desired units, unites, no, desired units in our column here. We're going to say, we're going to enter however many units we want. Let's say we want to run 4 units at a time. This equals the desired units, absolute reference. It's always going to equal that cell, all right? We're going to paste the formulas there. In other words, 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, 5 units. Okay, all right. We'll see how this works soon. So the desired level set value per item, yep. The unit, yep. Shopping list, if. So we need to add 1 more little thing in here. Cutting that and pasting that over there so that it still remembers the cell reference. In here we're going to have desired, all right? And desired equals the average per unit times the number of units that we want to have at any one time. Okay, 75, copy. Formulas. So this means that we can adjust how much warehouse stock we want to have on the fly. Maybe we are not maybe we don't have too much money, so we'll just start up with keeping 3 units of stock at a time. So that means we want to have 45 isogen, 6 megasite, etc. in our warehouse at all the time. But maybe as we start getting more proficient and we start having more money, maybe we want to run it at 200 units per time, which means we want to have those values. Okay, now, all right, desired levels. All right, let's do this. So if equals if current stock equals, no, if current stock is less than desired, then the value that we want to have to present is current stock is desired minus current stock. The value if false. So if K2 is indeed, if we have more stock than the desired levels, then we're going to say just present a blank cell, okay? And this one's looking in there. This one's looking in there. Okay, all good. All right, so that's our shopping list. All right, now let's get testing. Let's change our desired units much further down. Let's get buying. Let's run 2 units. Let's start with 2 units. So here's some cool stuff. We're gonna copy this directly from our worksheet into the client with the market multi-buy. So we open the market, open up multi-buy, remembering that has been copied. Now we're gonna go import item data, add items listed in clipboard to order, okay? So our order today is gonna cost us $22,795. Let's spend that, all right? Okay, we've got our little thing there. Now we are going to enter our data manually today. We are going to enter our transactions history manually. So we're going to enter into our input column here. Let's go transaction. I'm just going to quickly pop that up into the corner, nice and neat. Okay, so we are going to the wallet. We go to the transactions. Let's do this manually. Now you'll notice that I set up that cost per, and I didn't do it. I set up the cost per as a formula because when it comes to entering mineral values, they do not give you the pennies, okay? So if you do total ISK, and then give a formula, it then divides it. It will include tax prices, but that's all cool. Okay, All right, so when did we do this? We did this on the 24th of the 7th. I'm gonna grab that value. How many things did we buy? I think we bought 7. So let's go down like that. Change that, the column format there to short date. Item, let's start. Mega site. Now understand that I know full well that this is a very slow way of entering the data. But this is doing it all manually to start so that you understand the concepts. So when it comes to the quantity, we got 4. All right, now the total ISK cost. Okay, 2472. Okay, and that is given our cost per item, right? Actually, let's go and double check. See, in our transaction history, it's saying that the titanium was 5 ISK because it doesn't track the pennies. But if we go and look at the pricing of trit, we will see titanium here. It's 5.71. Coolie. So we actually, it's saying that we spent 5.72 because it's accounting for the taxes that we paid in that transaction. So I prefer that, to be honest, because it means that I don't need to track those sales prices later. Cool. And as you can see, the shopping list is now empty because it thinks in the warehouse that we actually have current stock. And let's actually just double check. We'll go to our warehouse here. Isogen 30. Current stock, we'll look at these values here. So 30, 4 megasite, 30 mexilon, 2 noxium, pyrite 60, titanium 100, 30 xydrine. Okay, so that's all working well. Let's say that our desired units, let's put them back to 1, which means that we are good for our current stock. 2, we are running at 2 units, we are right on 2 units. If we go to 3, if we want to get to 3 units of our current stock, we need to purchase this stuff over the side. And that's our little shopping list. We just select that stuff there, copy and paste into multiply. Very simple, okay? Let's go back to 2 units so that we've got a nice clean thing. Okay, now when it comes to the removed column, let's say that I'm going to give away some of my materials, or I'm going to use this materials to make a ship. So let's say that I'm going to use, let's do that. Let's say that we're going to use some of these materials to make a ship in the game, okay? And we want to keep track of the cost of that ship, okay? So we will do some basic calculations here. I'm going to make a Mooper flyer, okay? They're a very new ship. They are race specific. I don't think you would have heard of them. So we're making a Mooper flyer, and what goes into a Mooper flyer? Well, let me tell you. So we are going to withdraw all this stuff on the 24th. The item that we need, a Mooper flyer actually needs 13 isogen. Yeah, definitely. Actually, no, sorry. Isogen. It needs pyrite. It needs pyrite, and it needs xydrine. And it needs 13 isogen. It needs 2 pyrite, and it needs 29 xydrine. Okay. All right. So I've withdrawn all that stuff for my Mooper flyer. Let me quickly get myself a station container here. So how much was it? I think it was 13 isogen. It's 13 oxygen. And it was 2 pyrite and 29 zidrine to make. It's a cruiser. You guys wouldn't have seen it. So I'm now ready to make my Mooper flyer. It is in there. It's ready to go. Let's check our current stock levels. Let's see what we need. Okay, so current stock is saying we got 7 isogen, we've got 4 megasite, 30 mexilon, 2 noxium, pyrite 58, titanium 100, and zidrine 1. Correct, right? And it needs, if we want to go shopping and we want to get back to our desired level of 2 units, then we need to go and purchase this, which funnily enough is exactly what it takes to make a Mooper flyer that we just withdrew. Okay, now if you want to like deduce some extra stuff, if I wanted to sell that Mooper flyer, I can sum those 3 values, right? The cost per for each one of those items, the total cost for 13 isogen plus the total cost for 2 pyrite plus the total cost for 29 zidrine at the prices that, at the average price per that we purchased them at. One Mooper flyer costs 15,726.333 ISK to make. All right. Of course, that's just the material cost. If you wanted to add in freight cost and all those other lovely things, then go right ahead. Okay, so that is it, my friends. I hope that this has not bored you to death. I guess the final thing would be is to make this bad boy just a tiny bit sexy. So let's get our basic, let's do some basic kind of stuff here. Let's get our basic undercolor here. And then we're going to get some text. Let's get some text in a nice, let's make a green sheet today. And we're going to go dark. There we go. We're going to come up here to our title pages section here. I'm going to select those and let's make these actually this color because we're going to go like that. All right, so straight away we've got some nice accent colors. Let's do the same kind of thing down here. Let's put our desired units to align over to the left-hand side. Let's actually cut these and put it alright, so we get our shopping list here. We're gonna make the text color like this. We're gonna do this. What color did we decide on? Format painter, say like that. We're gonna get this, we're gonna say and that, my friends, is how you make your first ever warehouse. I hope that this has brought you just a little bit of value. I'm sorry if it seems overwhelming. I've tried to make it just as simple as I can. I'm sure that down the line I will look at it and go, I could have done that better. But that's how you get a warehouse. All you have to make sure is that you're entering your input correctly, getting all these numbers correct, and you're entering your withdrawals correctly as well. I'm sure that you will find many cool ways of using this system for your benefit when you're either manufacturing or maybe you're running a corp and you want to keep track of who is withdrawing what system, what elements from your warehouse. So that is that. So we've tested it. Copy shopping list, buy, enter prices and quantity, record, removal, make sexy. We've made it sexy. So thank you again. Please like, sub, and share. Be kind, generous, brave, fly safe, or stupid. You choose.
Mooper Corp out.